Guys, we are back. As promised in the previous video, we are diving into the best mid-level steel. But before we go any further, do us a favor, help us grow what we're doing.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
thank you for that. You make all of this possible. Like, subscribe, hit that bell button right so you get notified when we cover cool topics like the best steel for your money in a particular level.
Yep. So today we're talking about the mid-grade steel. So this is your 154 CMs, this is your D2s, this is your kind of common steel that you're going to see when you go to like, you know, say like an Academy Sports or a Bass Pro and you pick up kind of that middle of the road price knife.
Yep, that's right. And we have some cool examples of that. And without any further ado, 154 CM is the winner in this category. It is the best mid-grade steel by quite a lot. You know, in the last video, we talked about, you know, what sort of the kind of exception to the rule is. 154 CM is sort of mid-grade because a lot of times people use it in its budget. It used to be.
Right.
For about a decade there in the 90s, it was like the best steel you could get. ATS 34 is a derivative or just a Japanese version, and those knives are legendary. And what does it do well? It's stainless. It has good edge holding ability, good toughness. You know, people actually use this with larger knives as well. It's not exactly glass. And you can put an edge on it. It takes a good polish relatively easily. So when you talk about all around, this is probably the best all around steel you can get. And quite frankly, when you deal with an Emerson, that's the key.
Yeah, well, you said, you know, legendary, and while you're holding this Emerson, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, when it comes to 154 CM specifically, there's only one knife maker that stands out to me that has taken this steel and made it legendary. And honestly, with their heat treat, has elevated it to the level past mid-grade. Honestly, it gets a lot of hate, Emerson's, and we'll talk about that in another video. But the way Emerson does 154 CM is you almost can't call it a mid-grade steel.
Well, I agree. And when you take and you do the correct heat treat and you perfect the thing, it takes it to a whole nother level. And it really puts, quite frankly, the Emerson brand takes 154 CM and puts it more like an S30V in its performance. And so with this, as an example to what they do, these knives are made to be used. I have a sax as well, and when we do a future video, we'll show my sax and his, and we got some cool knife mods coming. It'll be fun. I threw mine into a tree just because, and just to say that I did, and I pulled it out, and this very, very fine tip of my sax was slightly bent.
Which, I mean, it's a Warncliffe blade, which is, you know, that's common with a Warncliffe. They've got a weak tip. They're sharp tip, but they're weak.
They're designed for puncturing flesh, not wood. Right. What's amazing about it is the heat treat was so good that I was actually able to gently, with a rubber, or not a rubber, but a wooden mallet, hammer it back into place. And it actually went back straight. It didn't snap off. I thought, here we go. I'm about to buy a new blade for my Emerson.
We're getting into a little bit of our like kind of Emerson brand review here, but same thing happened with the Scan-Do.
It's a cool story, but yeah.
You know, the edge rolled, and because the heat treat was so great, Greg was able to bring that edge right back. So 154 CM is a great mid-level steel, but with the right heat treat, it can elevate to, you know, a high, or even, I wouldn't say super, but a high level steel.
Yeah, and that takes us into the honorable mention, and that is D2.
Yeah.
I would say that you can get knives in D2 that are cheap.
Budget.
Chinese, right? You've got this little real steel here, and you can get those for a great price.
Yeah, this little Luna Light, it's like 30, 40 bucks.
And then you can kind of go a bit more high end, like this Smith & Son Cypress, which is made in Italy. And they actually chose D2 because this is like a ranch style knife, so you want the toughness of D2. One of the things that I really like about D2 is it's the toughest of the mid-grade.
I like that little knife. That's a cool knife.
It is a cool knife. You can actually blue D2. And I did that on this little Boker Kansei, I believe that's how it's pronounced. And I blued it, and it's great. But it's a tough steel. It doesn't really chip out on you. It's a tool steel, right? Good edge retention. You can blue it. You can sharpen it. You can have a lot of fun with D2.
And D2 is acquirable because, like you said, you can get a lot of budget knives that's already in D2. I know SOG makes some really great knives with their stout.
Yep.
That's D2, and that's a solid little knife.
Yeah.
Whereas 154 CM, it's still kind of in that 150 or plus mark sometimes.
Yeah, so. And the downside to D2 is that it doesn't really patina. It rusts.
Right.
Because it does have a high level of chromium, so it has that orange rust. So if you're going to play with D2, you need to just don't leave it in a wet environment. Because it'll be gross rust and kind of cancerous rust rather than 1095 like with patina. Right. But what you could do is you could just do the patina, a forced patina, faster and in a controlled setting with acid.
Well, that's so funny you said that.
And you can blue it.
I didn't bring my other Luna that I have, but we had etched that other blade.
We etched
that other Luna. We straight acid etched it. And it does make it feel a little bit more rough, whereas you're normally used to a smooth blade. But it helps protect it.
Yep, it does. And so D2 is fun. It's a funner steel than 154 CM is because you can play with it as well, and it's a good overall steel. But 154 CM with a proper heat treat is awesome and probably the best all-around mid-grade steel.
Yeah. So guys, honestly, if you're looking for 154 CM, you're going to find it in some other steels. Obviously, we prefer you get it from Emerson, but you will pay for it from Emerson because it's done right. But D2 easily acquirable as well. So that's the best mid-grade steel.
There you go. So, tell us what you think, how right or wrong we were. We'd love to hear from you guys. So and next up, just expect our high-end steel. Boy, the higher up we go, I imagine the hotter the response.
Oh yeah, because especially when we get to super steels, people are very
they're
passionate
gonna love to hate.
Steels.
So
Coke or Pepsi, right?
Yep. So there you go. Thanks, guys. Comment below and stay sharp.
Yeah, stay sharp.